come grounded. You come respectful of the people that you're working with. And you come with some boundaries and a container that you're going to set. But within that, and you have an intention, like, you know, my intention today is to have you learn about facilitation. And at the same time, if I can be flexible within the parameters of what I'm trying to do, sometimes other things come in that are really great. So those are that's like the bigger picture of facilitation. One of the things that I think is really important is what happens when you're facilitating a group, and I know that Michael and Mariah are talking about the sales coordinators and above. So those of you that aren't there yet, what a great opportunity to get to be sales coordinator and get to do this. Like, what if that was your perspective? Man, when I get to be sales coordinator, I get to help and learn how to be a better facilitator. And what will that do for the rest of my life? So that might be part of your, got to get to sales coordinator as fast as I can because I want to be a better facilitator in my life. But there's a couple things about facilitating that I think are really important. One is being a good listener. So clearly saying, you know, this is what I think I heard you say. And, you know, we hear that so much that sometimes when people say it to me, I kind of want to throw up. It's such a therapy sounding thing. I think this is what I heard you say. But what I'm learning is people don't hear what I've said very often. And I don't know that I always hear what they say. They say something and I think it's totally different than what I've heard. So me repeating it or them repeating to me, I love to ask people, what do you think I just said? I had a call yesterday and almost everything I said, she interpreted it completely different. She said, well, this is what I thought you said. And I went, oh, wow. Okay, good. This is what I actually meant. And it's like 3 times in a row. I don't know if she didn't listen or I don't speak well. It doesn't really matter, but we were connecting more when I kept saying, tell me what you heard me say or what you thought you heard me say. So that's a really important thing to make sure that people are really understanding each other when you are facilitating a specific subject. And the other piece is the listening piece. So here's something. How many of you hear somebody will say something and then the next response will be, oh, I love that you just said that. How many hear that? I love that you just said, you know, that if you pedal faster, you go faster. Anybody? I mean, I'm noticing it on every Voxer. Oh, I love that you just said that. That's great. And so when you're noticing that somebody says something that you like, that you respect, that you think was smart, that you think will be helpful, let's get specific and say, you know, when you answered a little while ago, Beth, what I loved about the way you answered, when I asked that question, you said about 2 or 3 things. You were really concise. You didn't take up a lot of time. What you said was really honest and true. And I think that those are qualities that you show in other places of your life. So thank you. So in other words, when we acknowledge somebody, we can acknowledge them for what they did, but attach it to the quality that they have that makes them be able to say those kinds of things. Does that make sense to all of you? So that's what I like to call heart-centered listening, is that you're not just saying, gosh, that was a great comment, I really respect that, but that you're actually saying why and what that does for you. And can you see how that would help in a relationship? This is not just about Juice Plus in our business. This is every place and all over.
And how we parent our kids.
Yeah, and a lot of times you can say, good job. Like we say good job to our kids, but we don't tell them why it's a good job. So for example, if you're with Tova and she had slowed down and didn't run into a wall because she got so excited about doing something, and you saw her actually slow down, you could say, oh my God, Tova, that's such a good job. I see that you're really starting to practice being more present. How cool is that? Like, right? Right. Okay, whatever. By the way, I am noticing, Mariah, that you and Tova look so much alike today, it's scaring me. It's just a thing that you're doing. It's an expression. It's the way you're, I keep seeing Tova in you, and I've never had that happen to me before. So that's why I brought Tova up. So, okay, now so I'm going to just stop there and see if you have any questions. Okay. We're good to go. So just some other little hints around facilitating. How do you manage participants? So you have participants that never say anything. And then you have participants that talk more than that would warrant time for the call. I could have said more than they should, more than you want them to, but really more than what warrants the call. So what are ways that you would, if you saw somebody that wasn't speaking up, I did it on a call the other day on our Monday Mastery, I don't know how many you were on, but I would not call on somebody that I was either really new or had said to me, please don't call on me. If I knew that, I would not put somebody on the spot. And when I do call and put somebody on the spot, I ask them permission. Are you comfortable to play with me right now? You know, and if they say no, it's totally okay. I want to make sure that, and then sometimes I'll say, are you open to stretching your comfort zone right now? Are you wanting to step up right now? Are you willing to go for that? And then this gal that did step up, pretty much everything she said was not quite right. Everything she offered, I asked her a question, it was like not quite right. And I said to her at the time, I said, oh my God, you are going to gift us today with something that no one else could have gifted us within this call, because this is a subject matter that you don't know very much about. And so this is going to not only serve you, but I bet you there's other people that don't know much about it. And so when I coach you, when I correct you, is that going to be okay with you? Because this is a gift. And she was totally into it. And at the end, she texted me, she said, man, that was the hardest thing ever. I did almost everything wrong, and I loved every minute of it. Now, it could have backfired on me. It could have. As a facilitator, are you always going to be liked? Just like in life, you're not. You're just going to do the best you can to help people do their best thinking. So managing people, what I like to do when I have somebody, again, so that's how to call on somebody that's not speaking a lot. I'd like to hear from some of you, what would you do if you think somebody is taking up a little bit too much time or is off track in what they're talking about? What would you say to that person? Remember, no shame, no blame. This is where it gets tricky. Any ideas? Okay, no shame, no blame. I'll go for it. What I really love to do is for somebody.
Yamara had unmuted herself.
Oh, Yamara Shet.
Oh, yes, I'm here.
Good. Did you want to say something?
Sure. Yeah.
Good.
So someone who's talking too much, I would politely, but definitely interject and say, oh, is there anybody else who's experiencing that or feeling that or has a viewpoint on that, whether similar or different, and try to involve more people in the conversation. And if they're going off track, I would try to acknowledge what they're saying and then redirect the conversation.
So I love that. So Yamara Shet's technique is a little bit of distraction. Is, oh my gosh, does anybody else have something to add to that or to say or respond, or how do you feel? You don't even have to say to them that they're doing anything wrong or anything else. But I've had somebody who consistently has done that. And so one of the things that I've learned to say is, you know what you're saying has a lot of value. And I really appreciate where you're going with this. So in other words, you're acknowledging them for the value that they're offering. Clearly this has a lot of value. And I wish we had more time to let you talk more about this subject, because I think it could really serve. But right now, because of our limiting time and because we want to stay focused on this subject, we're gonna hop back onto this. But you acknowledge them, you let them know maybe at another time you can actually do a training with them. And if that happens a couple times, what happened to the person I'm thinking of, they started to talk less. They had the same, they offered the same value, but they got to be more concise. And it was like a natural self-filtering process. So, and so we're almost at 10:45, and I know that's about the time that you normally stop, Mariah. Is there anything else that anybody has to say? And I kind of want to wrap this up just a little bit.
I know we're almost at 10:45, and I just want to reach out. Many of us are going to be hopping back on the Most Powerful Women. I'm comfortable taking an extra couple minutes. I want to make sure that we don't cut you short, Nikki, because what I'm reading in the comments, what I'm putting down in my notes, I'm feeling like this is incredibly valuable.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to make sure that you complete your session. We don't cut you off.
I'm seeing thumbs up from everybody.
Oh, cool. Good. And I think probably, or maybe I've become a fairly good facilitator because I'm lazy and you end up doing the training instead of me. It's to have to prepare training, you really, the PowerPoints and the whole thing, but facilitating, you just have to really understand how to set the container for the group, that's really important, by the way, holding that container. So if in fact what we're talking about today is, how to teach kids to ride their bike, and somebody goes way off tangent on something else, I can bring it back to this container. I can set the boundaries. So know what the boundaries are, know what the intention of the training of what the group is doing. So I want to address a little bit about if you were to facilitate a book club, how would that look differently than facilitating learning business skills? What would be some differences, do you think?
I think that facilitating a business situation has much more of a primary focus and a direction, where a book club is just everybody's there and it's just a very different directional kind of thing.
I am so glad that you answered like that, because it just showed me that my question wasn't very clear. Your question was, you answered exactly what I asked. What I should have said, which would have made it a little bit clearer, is if you are facilitating a book club that's nonfiction and you're all learning something together, so it's not about plot or characters or how that, because that's where you went, I think, Beth, right? Book club, totally different than facilitating if you're all reading the same book. So how does it look when you're facilitating a chapter in a book? What would be some things that you might do to really make it a powerful facilitation on that book, on that chapter? Any ideas?
Hey, it's Misty again.
Yes.
I would say you would pose a question, chapter 1, what was your big takeaway from this chapter on blah, 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 and you're facilitating everyone getting a chance to chime in with their answers, and then also giving what the experience was for you.
Exactly. Come prepared with 2 to 5 questions and keep it within that range. Come prepared for asking, what was your big takeaway and how will you implement it in your life? If we can always, especially in business settings, if we can always take that next, whatever the facilitation is, to an activity or to the next step, rather than just saying, in other words, when you end that container of that event, you do want to say, so for example, if I was ending today, I'd say, what's one of the most important things you learned about facilitating today, and where are you going to use it in your life? And I'm actually asking that question.
I'll go again. I loved when you said that you're a great facilitator because you're lazy, but I love it because it makes it so simple. Like, you have an idea of what you're going to facilitate on, but you don't have to come up with a whole huge training, because everybody involved in the conversation has amazing nuggets that they can gift out regarding that topic. So that's my big takeaway. I love the idea of just making it more of a round table with a focus than you having to have slides and have a presentation and the whole thing.
Yeah, exactly. And you said something that really got me when it was about the lazy thing, and I started thinking that's why my kids are independent, because I was a lazy parent also. They had to do stuff because I was too lazy to do stuff. Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm divulging too much.
Well, and hey, Nikki, I'm seeing people are needing to hop off. I want to make sure that we at least announce what it is going to be moving forward.
Yes.
Do you do that?
Yeah.
Or do you
I guess I can. I'll do it right now. Anyway, you see what facilitating is like, and I think it's really amazing that Michael and Mariah have come up with this to really facilitate everyone's growth. And that is that you all are going to be reading a book together, and it's going to be Braving the Wilderness. It's going to be Braving the Wilderness, which is one of my favorite books of Brene Brown. So, and if you've read it, I've read that one 3 times, by the way, so don't think that you're done. And every time I read it, I went, I don't remember her saying this last time. Did she add a new chapter? So you're going to be Braving the Wilderness by Brene Brown. And then the sales coordinators are going to, and above, are going to be given an opportunity to facilitate chapter by chapter. And I know that Michael and Mariah will be setting a date to make sure that all of you have the book in place and enough time to read whatever the first section is. It could be the first chapter. It could be the first 15 pages, depending on how they feel it's best suited. And then I know that when you have special guest speakers, on those particular days, you won't be doing your book facilitation or learning, but on other meeting days. And Mariah, have you guys decided on how long a time each call will be allowed for the book session?
When we had chatted with you with the sales coordinator at the SSC call, wasn't it 5 minutes?
I think we did a little bit longer. I think it was at least 10, because if you want everybody to be able to respond and to say what they've got out of it and their learnings, I think you're going to probably need about 10 minutes.
Okay. So, and for those that are still on the call, if you don't know who our sales coordinators are, Miss Molly, good golly, Miss Molly, Miss Shalene, Miss Missy, Miss Kirsten, and Feisty Nice, who's currently in Las Vegas attending the Most Powerful Women in Network Marketing. And so those will be your rising leaders over the next number of weeks that you'll get to watch and support facilitating. And then as you become sales coordinators, you'll be able to step into that role. So yes, 5 to 10 minutes. We'll definitely cut you off at that 10-minute mark. And part of facilitating will also be watching the clock.
Yeah, being a timekeeper. And by the way, facilitators can appoint timekeepers. That's a really cool thing to do. You can appoint a timekeeper, so you don't have to do it.
We had considered letting the sales coordinators pick their own topic and prepare a whole presentation. And as we talked to Chris and Nikki, everybody agreed that's not the best use of your time. If you're sales coordinator, SSC, time should be out actually building the business. We don't, we want to protect your time rather than spending it preparing a presentation to still rise to the occasion of building facilitation skills, but do it in a way that's not taking a whole lot of our time. And we all, reading a book together is a great thing, and we all get to, it's a great book.
It's a great book. I'm excited for all of you.
Absolutely.
And I'm excited for all of you that can tap into the streaming. Even though you're not in the room with 10,000 people, you're going to get bits, nuggets, senses, knowing, feelings that's going to change how you look at our industry and how you look at what we do within our industry.
Right. So just that last piece, if you don't know what the Most Powerful Women in Network Marketing Conference is, you probably have the GoPro book by Eric Worre. It's kind of really the foundational basic skills for the entire network marketing industry. He puts this event together once a year, and it is literally the most powerful women in this industry worldwide. Like Nikki said, there are 10,000 people currently together in Las Vegas. I remember when Molly and I were there together, it changed the trajectory of our lives, to say the least. These are powerful women, and it is not about a specific product or specific company. It is about elevating the industry, and we get to learn from the experts how they do what they do to elevate all of us. It is profound. We're lucky to be able to live stream it, and you can hop over on Missy's Zoom number. If you forget the number, it's on the Events DreamTribe chat. And all day today and all day tomorrow, you can chime in anytime, take some notes, and glean some content. If you're open to contributing, you can Venmo. Some people have contributed $10, $20. No expectation, but if you're open to contributing, that will help us cover our own costs. And if not, then we love you where you're at.
And Mariah, can I say one thing, just because I'm going to be in and out today and tomorrow. If anyone on this call is on there and something happens with the internet and it cuts out or anything, please text me or let Mariah know, and she'll let me know.
Yeah. Because it's on Missy's Zoom throughout all day today and tomorrow.
Awesome.
Nikki, thank you so much for your time.
Yeah, it was fun.
That was awesome. That was really
it
cool.
Was. Any last parting thoughts? Because I know we've gone 10 minutes over and there's still some people on.
No, just go out, be and do you. That's all I have to say. Be and do you.
I just want to say, Nikki, I think that was my favorite training so far that you've done. I don't know why, but I thought it was really, really good.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks. Who was that? Who just said that?
Missy.
It was
That
Missy.
was Missy.
Missy, but it looked like her thing was on red. Okay.
Nikki,
You know-
I agree with Missy too, that the training on facilitation and how we hold space and the specifics you got into, like, I want more. I loved it.
Love you guys.
Love you
Love you.
guys.
Have a great Friday. Have a great weekend.
Thank you.
Perfect. Thank